Hello children. In the previous video, we have seen the introduction of genetics and I told you about the Mendel and his work, and I told you that why the Mendel is called as the father of genetics. Now today we will see some of the terms related with the genetics, and then we will see the crosses that was made by the Mendel. Now yesterday I told you that Mendel chose the pea plant. Clear? And why he has chosen the pea plant, I gave you the detail also. Now one of the reasons was that we can see the varieties in the pea plant. I told you that Mendel found that some of the pea plants were tall and some of them were dwarf. He saw that some flowers were white, some flowers were purple. Some seeds were round, some seeds were wrinkled. Some pods were inflated and some pods were constricted. So these were the variations, okay, that Mendel had seen, and then he decided to test on the pea plant. Now let's see some terms. Term number one is trait. I told you the meaning of the trait. Trait means character. Okay, we simply say the character, the characteristic features, and the meaning of trait is the same, that is character. Now we can say that we have a trait of height. Okay, the plant may be tall, the plant may be dwarf. So what is this height? Height is a trait because it is a character. Clear? Then the second term given by the Mendel was factor. And yesterday only I told you the meaning of factor. That is, when Mendel was there, then at that time gene word was not discovered. So Mendel had said that this factor is responsible for the transmission of character from one generation to the other. So it is a hereditary factor. Okay, what we can say that it is a hereditary factor or hereditary component, even we can say that. Okay, it is a hereditary material that is responsible for the transmission of characters from one generation to the other generation. Okay, the two words are clear. Then in your book, I told you the meaning of genetics, that is, it is a branch of biology where we study about the genes. And then we have a new term that is called as inheritance. And the meaning of inheritance, or it is also called as hereditary. Heredity. Okay. The meaning of inheritance or heredity is, it is a phenomena of transmission of characters from one generation to the other generation. That is, if the genes are responsible for the transmission of character from one generation to the other generation, then that is called as the inheritance or heredity. The phenomena is known as the inheritance. Okay. Now after this three terms, we have one more term that we had already discussed yesterday, and that is hybrid. And I told you the meaning of hybrid is intermixing. Okay? Intermixing of traits. Now if I will say the word intermixing of traits, you can understand this very easily. That is intermixing of characters. Clear? Suppose what the Mendel has done. He took the pea plant, he took the tall pea plant, and then he took the dwarf pea plant. And after the hybridization technique, he mixed them together. I told you yesterday only the process of emasculation, that is the removal of anthers. So what he had done, simply he took these two characters, two traits, mixed them together and got the new variety, and this is called as the hybrid. So method of intermixing of two or more characters is called as the hybrid. Clear? Now your next term is What is given? Dominant and recessive. Dominant and recessive. See, the meaning of dominant is it is a gene that can express all its characters. Gene that expresses itself. That is called as the dominant gene. Whether they are in the homozygous or they are in the heterozygous condition, but every time they will represent themselves. This you will better understand when we will do the cross. But here you concentrate my words. I am telling you, dominant means a gene, okay, which express itself in homozygous or in heterozygous condition. Clear? Now see what is the meaning of homozygous. Homo means same. Okay? If we talk about the same gene, then that is called as the homozygous gene. As if for the tall plant, we use the gene capital T and capital T. Okay? And for dwarf plant, for the short plant, we use small t and small t. Okay, now don't get confused. This is called as a gene. This is also called as a gene. And this gene is responsible for the height of the plant. If the gene is dominant, then plant will be very tall. If the gene will be recessive, then the plant will be short. Okay. So, now Mendel had seen that the tall plant, they all have a 6 feet of height. And the short, they were of only 1 foot. This contrast difference was there. Big difference was there. So, capital T always represents the height, okay, and that too in the dominant condition. Now see, what I was telling you, that is a dominant gene. This gene will always represent itself. Now this is called as homozygous condition because both the alleles, I'll tell you the meaning of allele. Both the alleles are dominant. Okay, that is a pair of gene. They all have a dominant, a capital T. So it is called as the homozygous. And the meaning of heterozygous is if one is capital T and another is a small t. Okay, then it is called as heterozygous. This is homozygous. Okay, so what is the meaning of dominant? A gene which always expresses itself either in the homozygous or in the heterozygous. So, the plant will be tall only, whether it is capital T or it is capital T and small t. Small t will never show its character. It will never express itself. Okay? Whenever there is capital and small, then this capital will always show its trait. It will show its character. So this is called as the dominant gene. A gene that expresses itself whether in the homozygous situation or it is in the heterozygous condition. Clear? The next is recessive. Recessive means a gene which expresses itself only in the homozygous condition and not in the heterozygous condition. Now once again, the meaning of homozygous is a gene in which both the alleles, that is both the gene, they are of the same size, same height. Okay? If they are same, they are exactly same, then it is called as the homozygous. But if out of the pair, one is different and other is different, then that is called as the heterozygous. And this recessive gene, they always represent themselves in the homozygous condition. When they are both the alleles will be same, then only they will represent themselves. In this condition, they will not represent themselves because dominant is representing. Every time, the person who is the more powerful, they will represent everywhere. And the person, those who are little bit dumb, okay, those who are little bit shy, they will not express themselves. In the same way, we have the two genes. One is dominant, other is recessive. One is always expressing itself, that is dominant. And recessive, of course, it is helping the dominant, but it is not expressing itself. Okay? When it will express? When it will have both the alleles of the same kind. That is homozygous recessive. Clear? So, we have seen the terms hybrid, dominant and recessive. Now, our next term is, wait. I told you the meaning of hybrid, that is intermixing. Related with the intermixing, we have two terms. One is called as monohybrid and other is called as dihybrid. The meaning of mono is single, okay, or one, and the meaning of hybrid is intermixing. If we intermix the one character, then that is called as the monohybrid. And if we intermix the two character, then that is called as the dihybrid. So we can say that it is the intermixing of two traits. Now, in case of intermixing of one trait, what we can take? We can take the height of the plant. Now, this is only one trait, only one character. Whether the height will be tall or it will be short, but it is only one character. So, this is called as the monohybrid. Intermixing of the one trait, okay? And in case of dihybrid, intermixing of the two trait. How it is two trait? Suppose Mendel had taken the round seeds, okay, and the color of this was yellow. Now see, other he had taken wrinkle seed and the color of this was green. So what he had taken? One, he took shape of seed, okay. Then what he took? He took color of seed. Now shape was two. One was round and another was wrinkled. What was the color? Color was yellow or green. So he took the two traits together, two characters together, and then he mixed them. And so it is called as the dihybrid cross or dihybrid. So after hybrid, we have seen monohybrid, that is intermixing of the one character, and dihybrid, that is intermixing of the two or more character. On this basis only, the Mendel had made his two laws, two important laws. Then your next term is phenotype and genotype. Okay. See. Phenotype. if we give the physical character of the organism, okay, that is physical appearance. Now we are talking about the plant, so it's better to write down the plant only so that we cannot get confusion. Okay. So physical appearance of the plant. We can write out organism also, because in some of the animals also we have done the same. In case of physical appearance, suppose if we are talking about the height of the plant. Height of the plant. Height is a physical thing that we can see. We are talking color of the seed. Shape of the seed. Okay. Color of the flower. What are these? All these are the physical characters that are visible. Okay. And the next term. So this phenotype. Phenotype gives the physical appearance. That is easily visible. Okay. And the meaning of genotype is its genetic makeup. What types of genes are involved in making the phenotype? Clear? This is called as the genotype. So, the meaning of genotype is its genetic makeup. Okay? Suppose I am telling you height. Now, we can see the height is either tall. Suppose the height is tall. But height is tall. Clear? It is the genes may be homozygous. If we write capital T, this is also called as tall. Just now we have seen it is a homozygous. Okay. So the capital T, they will represent themselves. And suppose if I used to write this, then this small t is recessive. It will not show its character. Then who will show its character? Only capital T. And capital T denotes the tall. So again, it is tall. So while seeing, we can say that this plant is also tall and this plant is also tall. But see, its genetic makeup is homozygous, capital T. But its genetic makeup is heterozygous, capital T and small t. Clear? So, genetic makeup gives the genotype and its physical appearance gives the phenotype. Now, after this, see this carefully, children, okay? Don't get confused among the difference between the phenotype and genotype. Phenotype only gives us the physical appearance, how a person looks. That will be the phenotype. And how its genetic makeup, how his genes are modified so that he or she is looking like that. That is called as the genotype. Its genetic composition, its genetic construction. Clear? All its forms of genes, how they are. That is called as the genotype. And now if we talk about the physical, it is called as the phenotype. Now see, the next term that we will use in the chapter is allele. Okay. Now see, I'll tell you one basic concept. We always used to write gene with in pair. Genes are always written in pair. Once I told you this thing. Genes. Here the 2 is called as the gene because genes are always written in the pair. But one form of the gene is called as the allele. Clear? So if I am writing capital T, it means I am not writing about the gene. If I am talking about only this much, this is the allele of the gene. This is again the allele of the homozygous gene. Okay, so allele is always single and if it is in the pair, we call it as a gene. Suppose if I am writing this, this also denotes the tall because phenotype is capital T, it is dominant. If it is dominant, then the plant will be tall. So now it is a pair of heterozygous gene. Okay, but it has two alleles. One allele is capital T and other allele is small t. Okay, so the form of gene, whether in the homozygous situation or it is in the heterozygous condition, it is called as the allele. So the different forms of genes are called as the alleles. Clear? Now what is there? I think so we have used all the terms. Then we have mutation, and the meaning of mutation is sudden change in the genetic composition. That is called as the mutation. I think so this much is over for today, and now from the next class we will see the monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. So till now we have studied about the mutation, variation, homozygous, heterozygous, monohybrid, dihybrid, gene, alleles, factor and traits. Okay, and then we have read about the definition of the heredity and inheritance. Now it is your duty to revise these things so that we can start the monohybrid cross without any confusion. Till then, you stay safe at home and continue with your studies. Thank you.